We are continuing to read Clementine and the Family Meeting by Sarah Pennypacker. My mother went into the living room to work on some drawings. My brother watched a video about bulldozers. And all afternoon, I tried to guess what the good surprise was. Finally, it was after dinner. We cleaned the table, which took a while because when we weren't looking, Spinach had hidden his little toy trucks in the ziti and sat down in our family meeting places. Our family meeting places are the same as our regular places, except that my brother has figured out that whatever the meeting is about, he and I are on the same team. So he sits on my lap. This gives me hope for him. Moisturizer jumped onto my lap too, and then my dad called the meeting to order. We are a very lucky family, he said. Very lucky. What's on the agenda? I asked. I'm getting to that, my dad said. Now, families change. They grow. It's hard to believe, but you're 8.5 now, and your brother's almost 4. I clapped my hands over my brother's ears. Should we have a surprise party for him? You know what would make a great present? A gorilla. His birthday's not for a few months, my mom said. I vote we table that discussion for another time. Well, so what's the thing we have to talk about tonight? I asked. What do you think it is? What do you think that the family has to talk about? And it's a good surprise. My dad looked at my mom and raised his eyebrows. My mom looked back at him and smiled. She waved her palm at him like a game show host, as if to say, show us these great prizes, Bill. My dad looked at my mom again, and this time he looked like he was going to cry. Not in a sad way, but in an I can't believe how lucky I am that you're here way, which was nuts because my mom is always here. Families grow, he said again, and tonight, he stopped and smiled at my mom again. Tonight, your mother and I want to talk to you about an addition to our family. Our family is about to grow again. And then finally, I figured out what he was saying. I slid Peapod off my lap and jumped up to give my dad and mom a hug. Yes, thank you. Yes, you won't be sorry. I promise I'll take care of it. You'll barely even notice it's here. Thank you. Cauliflower was sitting on the floor looking between me and our parents, completely clueless. I leaned over and squeezed him hard. We're getting a gorilla after all. My mom fell back against her chair, laughing. Oh, Clementine, she said, it's definitely not a gorilla. I was a little bit relieved. The truth is, since I got my kitten, I'm not sure I really want a gorilla anymore. That would be a really big litter box. I studied my parents. What is it then? A pony? We're getting a pony? My dad pulled me over to him and held my hands. We're talking about a new baby, a brother or a sister for you two. What do you think about that? There's Mom and Dad talking about adding to the family, a baby brother, a baby sister. And now we're on chapter 3. What I thought about that was N-O, no thanks, I yelled. No thanks, Parsnip echoed. Then he looked up at me. No thanks what? No thanks to more people. Our family is 4. There are 4 sides to a puzzle, so we can all work on it at once. Hot dogs come in packages of 8, so we can each have 2. At the playground, 4 is an even number for the seesaws. 4 can all be together in the car. 4 can be 2 and 2 sometimes, and nobody is lonely. 2 kids and 2 grown-ups, 2 boys and 2 girls. There are 4 sides to the kitchen table, so we each get 1. 4 is a perfect number for a family. While I'd been explaining all this, my brother had snuck over to his favorite cupboard and thrown all the pots and pans out like a personal-sized tornado. He was sitting inside now, crashing lids together. I pointed to the mess in the kitchen. Look at us. Lima Bean puts toy trucks in the ziti, and we used a drill gun to stir the muffins this morning because we couldn't find the mixer, and my rat is missing, which isn't my fault, and so is my hat, and maybe that is my fault, but how is a baby going to help with anything? That's what I want to know. It's all moving too fast, and we're not ready. Oh, honey, my mom said, life is always moving too fast, and we're never ready. That's how life is. But sometimes that's just perfect. She dragged Zucchini out of the cupboard and hauled him off to get his pajamas on. Your mother, my dad said, is exactly right. Things are always changing. That's life. And this, he spread his hands to the tornadoed kitchen. Us? Toy truck ziti, missing hats, drill gun mixers. Well, this is how we roll, Clementine. This is how we roll. He started picking up the pots and pans, and after a while, I went over and helped him. I didn't say, what if we didn't roll for a little while? What if we just stood still? Even though my mouth was nearly bursting with the words. But I guess my dad could see me thinking it anyway. When the kitchen was picked up, he hoisted himself onto the counter and pushed back the cutting board so I could climb up beside him. Do you remember how you felt when Graham and Pop moved to Florida? He asked. I nodded. You thought you'd never see them again, and you were upset because you liked having them live just a couple of blocks away. And how did that work out? There you go. There's Dad and Clementine talking about this. Part good and part bad, I answered. I can't see them when I want to, and I miss them. But now I have someone to write letters to, and I like that. And they come in here in the summer and stay for a whole week, and I get to sleep on the couch. And then in the winter, we go there for a week, and I get to call out Lucky Legs 11 at bingo and drive the golf cart for Pop. And 11 fell out of a tree right onto my head. And in 2 years, Disney World. So, part good and part bad. That's what most change is, part good and part bad, my dad said. Right? He asked my mom, who had just come back with my brother. My mom ignored him. Did I hear something about driving a golf cart? And what's this about bingo? My father laughed. Our daughter has a secret life in Florida, apparently. Part good and part bad for us, too. Anyway, I think it's up to us which part to concentrate on. That's what makes the difference. I jumped down from the counter. I want to write Graham and Pop a letter right now, I said. Do they know yet? No, my mom said. We wanted to tell you two first. But we were planning on calling them tonight. In fact, let's get your brother to bed and then we can call. My mom asked my brother who should read his bedtime story to him, and for the first time ever, he picked me. Really? Not Mom or Dad? Beansprout said yes again, and then he dragged me into his room. He lined all his trucks on the bed to get ready, and he pulled a book from under his pillow. Let me tell you, it was not much of a story. A bunch of trucks live together and crash into each other. That's all right. I'm not even kidding. But my brother loved it. As I read, he crashed his trucks together 2 by 2 and then tucked them under his covers to go to sleep. When I finished, he thanked me. You're welcome, I said, surprised. And then I looked at him, really looked at him. Here they are. It's her little brother and Clementine. And it looks like she gets along pretty well with her little brother. Usually, he looks like a puppy to me. Little and round and always wiggling. But tonight, stretched out long in his big boy bed with one of Mitchell's old baseball caps on, he looked like a boy, which meant our family didn't have a baby in it anymore. My dad held the phone up when I came into the living room. Would you like to tell them, Clementine? He asked. I shook my head. You do it. I flopped onto the couch and listened. My mom sat down beside me and wrapped my curls around her finger. It's wonderful. Yes, yes. July. Wonderful, my dad was saying. She feels fine. Yes, it's wonderful. And then he said, it's wonderful, 100 more times. Finally, my dad handed the phone to me. We'll see what she says to her grandparents tomorrow, the next time.